Hello and welcome to another update video about QNT. QNT has moved up a little bit, has reacted to our support zone. A lot of you have asked for an update about QNT, naturally because we've seen a bit of movement. But the two structures we discussed in the previous video are basically still relevant. Let me take you through them and let me tell you how we can actually distinguish between the two structures. First of all, in the yellow scenario, which is likely, but to be honest, I'm very neutral. I'm very neutral. I think maybe orange is working out, but I need to see more price action. I can tell you that if Bitcoin is, for example, going to see a deeper pullback, probably yellow is going to take the lead, but it's very neutral. They are both, however, that's very important, they are both bullish, just that in the yellow scenario, we might see one more pullback and maybe even one more low below the October 2023 lows. So we have a bullish, what I call a wave one initially here into the October 22 highs. Then this is a yellow, very complex WXYXZ structure. I don't prefer this count. Well, I wouldn't prefer this normally. And I don't clearly prefer it, but I wouldn't normally use that structure because it's a very rare one. But I'm adding it here because the move from the lows here in October, it started promising, but it turned into really a messy corrective structure. So that's why I'm very much on the lookout for potentially one more low in the yellow count, which, if I zoom in a little bit, suggests that the yellow Z wave, obviously it's a corrective structure, so it would be an A, B, C structure. That's what we would expect in the yellow count. A, B, C in wave Z of 2. And in the Z wave, we should see the price get to $78 next. This count is valid as long as the price stays below $153.50. So that's how we can distinguish between both counts. And it would be confirmed with a break below the A wave low at basically $99.80. The market reacted to the support area, which is great. So please be aware that still though, if you looked for an entry point here, if the market goes a little higher, it might be reasonable to move the stop into the break-even point at some point, or even take some partial profits. I mean, it was still decent move, right? Because it could be the yellow count, but we don't know that, to be very, very clear. Obviously, what we might be seeing here is maybe a reaction to that trend line, which is not very well defined, but it could be another level of resistance, and we expect a bit of resistance at the X wave high anyway. Okay, let's talk about the orange count, which is very unreliable because it's an ABC structure. And to be honest, that would what is that? It's difficult because what is that count? It's an ABC structure. A third wave cannot be an ABC. Difficult, yeah. It would be a different overall context. I would probably say maybe wave 2 will sit here and then we had a wave 1 down, ABC. That would be bearish. It's going to be difficult to say. I don't know, it could even turn into a triangle here. So that's the problem. It's not a reliable chart at the moment because we haven't got an impulse into any direction. So please be aware of that. Therefore, we have to drive on site, have to be a bit careful. I offer you support areas once I see something that is at least somewhat reliable, but the orange color of the support area was supposed to indicate, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks. Now, good it held, because in the orange count, we're watching for a reaction here, and maybe even in the yellow count for this more substantial ABC structure. So the orange count anyway, to keep the orange count likely, which should send us higher, the last swing low obviously need to hold, 99.80, which is at the same point, if that level breaks, it's a confirmation for the yellow count. And then if we see a break above the X wave high or A wave high in the orange count, orange would be confirmed further. So around $154. Where could that wave C take us next? Wave C could take us next. That's based on the condition that the last swing low here at just below $100 is holding. So 185 would be the next level. To be fair, normally if we talk about C wave, I'm normally highlighting targets between the 100% and the 138% extension. So we talk about 185 to 233. How reliable is it? again, I'm very neutral about both counts, I have to say, but obviously we still had a setup, shows you how even if probabilities are not very clear, still close to the pivot points, setups can be generated. Okay, so it's not about probabilities trading. Well, it is, but in a much more complex way, much more underlying. It's not about, okay, I think it's going to go up to 80% probability. And, it's not like that. You don't trade that like that. You trade it where reward is high and risk is low. Here we had a decent reward to risk ratio. Now we are not really. Okay, now we are quite far away from that last low and we're close to resistance. But that was still something that I said, okay, I can defend putting that onto the chart as a support area. So now we just need to see, can the price push into the target area, into the resistance area? And I gave you the relevant levels that need to break to make that more likely. There's my update about QNT. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.